So I'm going to use the Desmos scientific calculator to enter in the expression that's written on the right side of my screen and simplify that or evaluate that using the calculator. So there's a couple common mistakes that we make when we're entering in an expression on this scientific calculator that I want to make sure we're aware of. So I'm going to start by entering in -4/5. And as you know, you can either just use your keyboard and the slash button that's on your keyboard, or you can use the division symbol to represent the fraction, or even the fraction button itself to enter that in. And the next part is where we see a common mistake. So I need to, according to my expression over here, I need to add -3. I want to make sure that I'm adding -3. I'm going to with the parentheses, and that I'm not making the mistake of putting that addition part in the numerator or denominator of the fraction that I put on here. For example, if I just space on my calculator and start to enter that in, it's in my denominator, which is not where I want it. You can see in this one, it's by itself outside of that fraction. So in order to make sure that I'm entering this in the right spot, I actually have to move my cursor. Right now it's down by the 5. If I use my arrows, I move it up to the 4 so I can move it. I'm going to move it with the arrows to the right so that that cursor is off the fraction altogether. You can see it right here. So I'm going to show you how I'm moving it. It's up by the 4, down by the 5, and over to the right. And again, that's just using those arrow buttons that are on your calculator or on your keyboard. Another way to do that, so let's say I have that cursor there, I can use these arrows to move it. So I'm going to use that arrow right here to move it off of the fraction. So you can either use these or the ones on your keyboard. But I just want to make sure that I'm off the fraction when I continue typing in the expression. In fact, if I want to, I can use my space bar to move that cursor over just so that I know for sure that I'm not going to type this into the fraction. So now I'm going to add -3. And again, I can use my keyboard to put in those parentheses and the plus sign and all that, or I can use the actual buttons that are on the calculator. I'm going to continue. I'm going to keep fractions when I see fractions in my expression. Don't leave them off, because we know from the past lessons in math class this year that fractions are really important with organizing our expressions and sometimes can change the sign of our answer when we're evaluating something. So keep those parentheses in. Now I want to subtract 2 to the 5th power, and I'm going to use this button here, this A to the B button, so that I can get my cursor up so I can put in an exponent of 5. And once I enter that 5 in, I have my answer there. So we should have gotten -35.8. You can click the convert to fraction button and get -179/5. Both of those answers are correct. Usually we like to see fractions as mixed numbers, but an improper fraction is correct as well. So again, we can convert between those two pretty easily. So again, the importance of spacing when we are entering in an expression really does change the output. So you got to be careful with those details.